Welcome back, good students. This is still a silent song, but this time around is is the first anthology in a collection of silent song and other stories in this particular anthology collection. So we're going to be looking specifically to a silent song by Leonard Kibera, that is from Kenya, literally. And of course, don't forget this Liberty Media class. And as I already said, that this is a rebranded Liberty Media. But of course, you're going to have these particular segments in each of our, work. And all these particular segments have been incorporated to make sure that we get to our audience's attention. Now, before I get to that much further ado, in case you're coming across this work, it's your first time, a friend referred you to this, or you bumped across it accidentally, you wouldn't want this to happen next time round. You only do that by subscribing. That means that you're committing yourself, or you are making sure that the future updates, you'll be the first person to be notified. And you only do that by, of course, hitting that notification bell, and for a reminder, that is. And of course, give it a thumbs up and a sharing with good friends out there, and especially those ones that this work is going to be of value. Previously, we've done essay 1, maybe exam style questions, and of course model responses, and we looked at like 3 essays. But we need to give it a right footing on the premises, on how, maybe starting from the background of the writers, and of course the thematic concerns, the stylistic devices, the language use, and of course the character and the character analysis. We didn't do that, and this is what exactly we're going to maybe look at this particular episode right here. So welcome, and let's dig into it straight away. So, Silent Song by Leonard Kibera. What do you have to know about the author? Leonard Kibera is a Kenyan novelist and a short story writer. Kibera was born in Kabete, Kenya, attended high school at Embu, and studied at the University of California and Stanford University. He taught, of course, at the University of Zambia and at the Kenyatta University, Kenya, that is from 1976 until his death. His first publication was a book of short stories, Potent Ash, 1968, which he wrote with his brother Samuel Kahiga. Of course, the book explores the guilt, betrayal, and failure of the Mau Mau. There you got it. And to our next slide, several of the stories that have been anthologized, especially The Spider's Web, which points an accusing finger at Kenya's elite for the state of Kenya since independence. His only novel, Voices in the Dark, 1970, dated 1970, uses dark humor to question why most Mau Mau soldiers who fought for independence were forgotten and left to beg and die along the roadside. Kibera therefore has also, Kibera has also written several articles of literary criticism. And of course, maybe we cannot just get into that particular work right now. So there you have it. You might as well as want maybe to check on that one during your free time. What are the specific episodes in Silent Song? What even the title suggests. Stay with me, because very soon you're going to see what exactly that implies. Episodes, the key instances, the episodic moments of this particular short story. We have Mbane's life of misery in the streets as a lame, blind beggar. That's between page 17 to page 19. There is Mbane's lonely self versus the bubbly world around him, page 18 to page 19. There is Mbane's nostalgia, page 18. There is Mbane's brother, Ezekiel, who rescues him, in between page 19 to page 20. Now, those are the key epic moments that you're going to come across. Now that I've just given you a blueprint, that the guideline, the punchline that you're going maybe to base our arguments, or even as we're going to read, when you're going to read, rather, because we're not going to do the reading here, you'd be maybe placing your arguments and your thoughts in line with those particular 4 episodic instances that will guide your decision making later on. So let's briefly look at the synopsis. The Silent Song by Leonard Kibera is a story about Mbane, a young, paralyzed, blind city street beggar. He lives in destitution, begging from the passers-by while seething with pain and discomfort. His brother, a wealthy preacher, rescues him from the barbaric city into the light of God after neglecting him for a long time. Mbane painfully reminisces his street life with nostalgia at his brother's lonely heart. He is not as happy, though he is now in a more serene environment. He remembers the bright weather, lovely morning and a beautiful sunset as the city dwellers, pedestrians, dull and gay people during the day talk. At night, the good men and women turned drunk, pimps, a war galore, have their turn to smile. He begs day and night for a living. He is nursed by Sarah, his brother's wife, who administers bitter fluid down his throat. He swallows it painfully, and she assures him of being well. His religious brother Ezekiel preaches to him about Christ, the saved ones and sinners. He asks him whether he knows where sinners go when they die and whether he accepts Jesus, and Mbane says he doesn't even know. Before he saves him, Mbane's strength wanes. The pain goes, his head jerks down to the bed, and he's gone. Okay, what about the title of the story? Discuss the relevance of the title of the story, A Silent Song. Brainstorm about the paradox in the title. Of course, it's paradoxical because you're going to find out later that it wasn't a song by it, but again, given the fact that a song is not supposed to be sung silently, then there's something contradictory about the statement or that makes the title by and large. Like, how would it be a silent song? Literally, it means that either there is a quiet a reflection that is going on about one's life that has not to be exactly maybe said out there, but again, somebody who's trying maybe to go back inward and maybe reflecting upon his past life and even the present and even the future, and by then saying that it's literally somebody's song, and of course not really depicting maybe a good picture. It's a sorrowful moment, and even it suggests that by and large the attitude, the tone, and even the mood of the text. Maybe we'll need to just jumpstart that one because you're going to see that one later on. And let's look at about the themes and maybe some of the themes that maybe probably come out clear from the text. Explore the following themes as brought out in the story. You're going to be looking at that: a silent song, pain and misery or physical handicap. That one is going to be later shared on. I'm going to share that one briefly. Religious hypocrisy. There's prostitution and sexual slavery, and D, alcoholism and escapism. So without that wasting time around, so let me take you through the themes first of all. And again, before maybe I jumpstart your work, first of all, there is a silent song in this particular case here. I remember to have told you that it sets the tone, so don't expect maybe happy moment. It's a somber mood, because of even the title suggests. Now, when you're in fact you're going to be reading the text, somehow titles speak a lot. The title of a text that is selected, you need really to exonerate and look creatively, not even creatively. It has got a hidden meaning behind the words that have been used, and given this one a silent song, then it's alliterative. We have silent song, meaning that, okay, and again, the word silent and song, of course, previously I said that song cannot be sung silently. This is somebody who's reminiscing, maybe having a nostalgic moments, then they are reflecting upon themselves, or something reminds them of something, of somebody, or about a scenario, then they are trying to reminisce over the same. Having said that, let's jump into maybe our first theme of concern that comes out of this particular text after you've successfully and believing that you've read the text. Pain and misery or physical handicap. In a sense, a silent song, an oxymoron rather, paradoxically echoes the moments of soul-searching and reflections that Mbane has had over the period that he stays on the street. This creates a more vivid picture of his life and a cathartic, rather emotional impact. Now, the miserable life on the street as a crippled, blind beggar seems less painful than in his brother's desolate heart, where he is lonely and suffering. That can be found on page 18. He has been speaking to himself in his thoughts and for a long time on the street, except for his mechanical plea of yes, quote unquote. He has no one else to address but himself. You can also find that on page 19. Mbane undergoes much pain, agony, and suffering on the streets because of his life circumstances. Being blind and lame has impaired his ability to live everyday life. Sharp pangs, savage fury, pain tore his stomach. That is on page 17 to 19. He crawled on his knees and elbows. Suddenly, sharp pangs from his navel tore. He was paralyzed. Then the pain disappeared, but he knew it had only recalled for another attack. Page 17. He has heard noises, songs, and sounds of different people, but he retires to solitude, a state of loneliness rather, and thoughts start going through his mind at the end of the day. It's like a dream, a song of hope, and he sings his happy song silently to himself, rather secretly rather, and that is on page 20. Mbane ponders the meaning of light to him. Light mean to a blind man. At the point of death, as his brother urges him to get saved, with the reticence that he ponders on God's place and meaning in his life. People despise him on the streets. Good Christians curse and call him able-bodied, only crippled more every day by the idleness or leisurely begging. He sits there, street back lane, and waits for his journey's end. His body smells of sweat, unwashed except in the rain, which he could but feel. There is a wide gap between his beliefs and his brother's. His tortured body is already separated from his free soul when he dies. The soul has already communicated in his silent song, smiling at peace, his host, himself, and of course, everyone. Okay, good. Now, good students, that marks the end of this particular abrupt episode here, but it wasn't really abrupt. My suggestion and my humble request is that maybe go through this work again during your comfort, relaxed moment, if possible. You can pause in between the video and try to write down things that you think they are important. Because if you'll be going at the same speed, at the same rate, pace that I'm going, I wouldn't mean that it will be more effective. I wouldn't really think or take it that it was going to be effective, rather than maybe having a nice comfort place, maybe next to it you have a nice small notebook. Just be putting this down if you want maybe to get more if this particular session is going to be more effective and more useful to you. And once again, a Liberty Media class, subscribe to this particular channel, and this will make sure that we're not left out in our future updates, and you'll be the first person to be notified immediately we do that. Stay put. Till next time.